agricultural vehicles, power vehicles, I'll talk about that, and lands and housing. This is a detailed version of it. So if you want to have more information, we can provide that. Works, mining, move on. Aviation, move on. Centenary City, Nigeria will be 100 years in terms of amalgamation, and we are working towards that. One of the things we want to do is to create a centenary city in Abuja, which will be private sector driven completely. They have come together, some of the investors have come together to set up their own SPV to drive it. We will provide the environment, but they will do this going forward. And there's opportunity to build all sorts of, whether it's housing, hotels, restaurants, amusement parks, and all that. So if you're interested in what we do, if we become a preferential regulated environment as a duty-free zone and tax shelter, new expressway will link the city to the international airport. Equity value that's about $4 billion. It will create a lot of jobs and all that. But this is something which the private sector, we will create the environment. We will create all the necessary incentives to make this work. But it's the private sector that is going to do it. And already we've seen a lot of interest. This is how we expect the centenary city to look like in Abuja. Next slide. Telecom, I've talked to you about telecom, about the boom. There are a lot of incentives in the country, but what I will say to you, for those who are not familiar with it, you're allowed to bring in your capital 100%, you're allowed to take it out 100%, once you can demonstrate the evidence that you brought the money into the country in the first instance. You're allowed to repatriate your profit net of paying taxes, nobody stops you from doing that. You can even own your company 100% in most areas and all that. So we have a one-stop shop at NIPC in Abuja where you can come, rather than going to 24 different company, ministries and MDAs to register. We have a floor at NIPC where we have 24 MDAs, and you do all your registration in 24 hours. Again, we are replicating this in the states, so we have done this in 16 states. We hope to do it in the rest, in the remaining 30, in the remaining, 20 states. We've done 16 already. So you'll be able, and there's a link between the OSIC at the state level and the federal level. We have regional trade and investment officers that are coordinating our investment activities. We use the embassies first and foremost. We have a desk in each of the embassies. There's supposed to be a trade and investment desk, but we have regional trade and investment officers or commissioners that are working with the embassy to answer your questions on a more proactive basis and organize trade and investment missions to the country. Next slide. Now, this is, again, at one of the forums where people were asked and saying, look, where would they invest in Africa? And they were saying, which country offers the best return? And of all the African markets, investors believe Nigeria will offer the best overall prospect of investment returns over the next 3 years. I'm not surprised about that if we did 35% last year and yet we did 20%. This again are sectorial incentives. We have incentives for each of the sectors also. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, you're going back, not forward. Now, next slide, move on. Okay, these are sector-specific incentives. So we talk about aviation. Now, there's someone struggling with these slides here. I have to play professional to deal with my slides going forward. Now, the message, what we want to share with you here is that, look, the world is taking notice of Nigeria, and the world is investing in Nigeria. So I'm saying to you here, all over the world, we have received and we're receiving investment delegations and people that are actually committed to investing in Nigeria. Symbion, for example, is one of the biggest companies that did it and won the bid by one of the power generating companies in the country. GE today is one of the top 500 companies in the world. GE has an MOU with the country to invest $1 billion in Nigeria over the next 5 years. And they're not investing in it's not hot money, it's sticky money. Because as an investor, you differentiate sticky and hot money. This is sticky money, meaning it's long term. They are investing in the assembly and manufacture of turbines in the Calabar Free Zone. We're doing the groundbreaking of that. It's not just word, we signed the MOU, we're doing the groundbreaking on the 17th of this month. GE also is looking at investing in assembly and manufacturing of locomotives in the country. These are real investment, long-term investment in case of boosting the industrialization of the country. And they're looking into healthcare, for example. It's a top 500 company, again for the United States. P&G has just invested more than $250 million in their plants in the country. I did a groundbreaking about a year ago. Hopefully, when we finish this year, the president will be doing the commission of that groundbreaking. Okay? That they've been in Nigeria for decades, and they're increasing their investments in the country. And what's more interesting about P&G is that all their vendors in the world, they're gathering them together. And I'm supposed to come back again very soon to speak to their vendors here to see how we can share the Nigerian story with them and take them to become their vendors, working with Nigerian partners in Nigeria. That is it. So they have a long-term view of the country, and it's about developing the country and making money as well in that process. You have from Brazil, you have Petrobras. I didn't talk about petrol. You have Electrobras. I didn't talk about power, hydropower. Electrobras are interested in. Battery group are from Indonesia. FMP is from Australia. If you just go all around Toyota, we'll talk about Japan, about Sinotec, Tata, Gulf Warehouse Scheme, Gulf Warehouse Company. So the best Glencore is one of the top names in mining. PSA person is looking at palm oil. I think they were looking at the time. I think was it 50,000 hectares of land or 25,000 hectares of land? Yes, on ground, but in the land they're looking at. Okay, 30 out of 50,000 hectares of land. So when the company is looking at 50 hectares of land, it's not small business. That's what I'm trying to say. It's big investment in the country. So I'm trying to tell you that it is happening. And I'm giving you evidence of the companies that are coming, and some of them are here already. Next slide. In terms of trade with Netherlands, Netherlands used to be my #1 priority, and I'm also proud of Netherlands because you were my #1 trading partner when it came to non-oil. But you're sleeping. 2012. We need to work on it. So my mission here is not just this, it's to work on something. I was very proud of you. Anywhere I went, I said, Netherlands was my #1 trading partner. Was Nigeria's #1 trading partner when you talk about non-oil sector. And that's the sector we're seeing growth. 2012, something happened. We need to identify what happened, change it, and get it corrected. So that going forward, I remain and you remain my best friends. Now, Dutch companies are already in Nigeria. These are some examples. Unilever, Shell, Heineken, Stephen, Philip, PNA, they're all in the country. In fact, I'll share one secret with you. One of my investment programs is to meet with the companies that are invested in Nigeria from different countries. So I have dinner with them, and the first meeting and dinner I had was with the Dutch companies in Nigeria. Always cordial, very, very good dinner. Again, when I meet with them is to understand what the issues are, what we need to do as a country to solve their problems, understand the investment program, and what I need to do, or what the ministry needs to do, and the agencies need to do to make it easier for them to implement the investment program and, in fact, increase the investment in the country. Netherlands was the first country I met with. I've met with the French nationals, companies in the country. So I do it based on when I'm in the country, if possible on a quarterly basis, where I meet with, have dinner with each of these companies from each of these countries. Now, these are just stories about what people say about the country, not what Chef Aganga says about it. The first one was by one of my former colleagues at Goldman Sachs, Jim O'Neill, who was the person that came up with the BRICS economy and the N11 economies. And what he said, if Nigeria were to show the same increase in its growth environment score over the next decade, many investors will look back and say, why the hell didn't I invest in Nigeria? That was a prediction by him, but actually it's already happening. Ask those who miss the opportunity to invest in telecom. They're already saying that today. When you look at the chairman of KPMG was in Nigeria recently, and said, people are now focused on the means economies. And what are the means? Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey. They are the 4 countries that international investors are really focused on for growth and investment. This is by Michelangelo, Global Chairman, KPMG International, based on a survey of their global clients. And the last one I will share with you, and which I'm sure you have had, is what David Cameron, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, said. I wish I had added what the Prime Minister of Poland also said when he came to Nigeria. But this is what David Cameron said. Tell me which part of the world has seen its number of democracies increase nearly eightfold in just 2 decades? Eastern Europe? No, it's Africa. Which continent has 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world? Asia? No, it's Africa. Which country is predicted by some to have the highest average GDP growth in the world?
Sorry.
Which country is predicted by some? That was not very briefly, because we wanted to pause and listen to the last one. Because this is the most important. He was following directly. Which country is predicted by some to have the highest average GDP growth in the world over the next 40 years? You might think Brazil, Russia, India, or China. No. Think Africa. Think Nigeria.
Wow, awesome.
Thank you.
Please, another round of applause. Your Excellency, sir, thank you for being a compendium on investment in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe no one could have done a better job than what the Minister of Trade and Investment has done in the presentation. This is not an appeal, nor is he begging that we come to Nigeria to invest. He's simply giving us for free information that is very critical for any serious-minded businessman who wants to make money going forward. I'm glad that Nigeria and Africa is a growth center, and I'm also certain that the Dutch government is fully aware of this